Hey Nick, how you doing, mate?
I'm doing good, Jason.
So let's jump straight in. Why don't you just give people some background? How did you end up with OP? What happened for you? Just as long as or as short as you want to make it.
Yeah, I'd love to. Um, yeah, so my name is Nick. Um, I developed OP when I was in my high school years, about age 17. And my story really revolves around being an American football player. And I had professional ambitions. I wanted to play in university. And so that training regimen is all about speed and power and strength and aggression, and it was heavy weightlifting daily, no days off, and it was just like really a culture of like pain, like push harder. And it was not a culture that was mindful and connected to your body. It was just how fast can you run, how strong can you lift, and how hard can you knock into the other person. Um, and so, yeah, the first time I remember being aware of my OP really came on right before my senior year, which is supposed to be like the culmination of like a youth athlete, really. Is a senior year hometown, you look at these athletes and that's what you want to be. And so I remember training on the ladders and just after that training session being like, man, my adductors hurt. And of course the culture of push through it. That's what I did. And eventually before the season started, um, I was the running back, which is, in a lot of ways like the peak of strength and power and speed on the team. And yeah, my adductors shut down, and it was I I couldn't run. My mind wanted to run, but I would take a handoff and just physically be unable to move my legs like I wanted to. And it was so painful in my adductors and in my whole pubic region, really. It was just filled with pain. And just walking to classes between high school classes was a pain. Um, Sitting and standing, painful. Like it was hard to run from and devastating because that's what I was training for my whole childhood, really, was this moment. And I tried everything under the sun to fix this thing because I wanted to play so badly with my friends. Um, I tried all sorts of stretching regimens that I found on the internet or the athletic trainer prescribed to me. I tried rest for it. I tried physical therapy. Um, I tried uh, some steroid injections. I tried then this, it was touted as this brand new kind of technologically advanced,
Oh, I'm
um,
curious as to what
ex-
this is. What was it?
expensive treatment called PRP.
Oh, how long ago was this? This is like when you were 17, so this is like a decade ago.
Yeah, this would be in 2015.
Yes, that's right when it was coming out. It was the new flashy thing. Sorry, go on. Yeah, I remember that.
Yeah, totally. They
Every
take your
client was
blood
like,
out, they
every client was like, I'm
centrifuge
gonna get
it.
this PRP thing, and it was like, it was gonna work, and I'm like, I don't know if that's how OP works. I'm like, this stuff is new, so like, maybe it will, but yeah, no, it didn't. It didn't.
Yeah, and the doctors, the specialists I was seeing were like, "Is it a sports hernia?" Like they're just so confused by it. Um, and eventually, I did get a diagnosis of OP by a specialist eventually. So they did this PRP, which involves taking your blood, centrifuge, 3-inch needle into your pubic symphysis,
Yeah.
like very very sensitive area. Um, it just scarring, and then that didn't work. And then I tried a dit ja jiao. I might not be saying that right. It's an ancient Chinese herbal concoction that is
So
passed on passed on by oral tradition. And
this is a
my
first. I've never heard of this. Go on.
yeah, my dad got it from a guy So you got it from a guy, underground thing. And I just remember it was like a topical, and I remember just like spreading it on the adductors and the pain areas with OP. Just
That's
like
not a good place to be spreading a weird concoction.
no, no. Looking back 10 years later, I'm like, what was I thinking? What was I doing? But that I think it just speaks to the state of my desperation
Mm.
of like being like really helpless, I think was something I was feeling during that. And I didn't end up playing at all that season as, OP is very serious and like takes takes a long time for your brain to make these new connections and everything with it. And so I didn't end up playing that season. I played the next athletic season of basketball, but was just a different athlete and clearly not healed. Um, but yeah, I think during this time, I just had a feeling that it was out of my control and I couldn't do anything about it. And I just was resigned to the fact that I was going to be limited with my body the rest of my life. Limited, like, yeah, athletically, but just moving, just squatting, these basic human movements that I was like, yeah, I'm just going to be broken, you know? And because I tried all these things, none of them worked. I'm like, there is nothing out there for me. And just the mystery of OP and not a lot of resources out there, not a lot of knowledge about it, not a lot of literature. And so, yeah, then that kind of brings me to when I was on a YouTube black hole, just like, I don't know, just scrolling one video to the next. And I found one of Jason's videos with maybe 920 views on it. And some about it captivated me. Something about Jason captivated me, and I was just like, "What the hell? Let me take a shot on this."
So
So
give people some
yeah,
timeline there because you're talking about like 2015. What happened
mm,
between 2015 and then because we like I think your first appointment was like
yeah,
2023 was like September kind of thing. So yeah, what
yeah.
happened in those 8 years?
Thanks so much. That was so yeah. 2015 is when all those things happened, and then 2015, 2016, and then I went through like all of university. So I think we went through the program 2022 was when we
20,
started.
2020, yeah. Anyway, yeah, go on.
Yeah. So this was 2022 when I found your video. The in between years were, I don't know, I was just in university partying. Yeah. I
So
wasn't really pushing my body very often. I was strength training and whatnot, but
and I think that just highlights for people like this thing where it's like, oh, there are going to be, especially so some people get this because they're pregnant, like if they're from pregnancy and stuff like that. So because it's such a dramatic thing to get pregnant, it affects them in everyday life. But for most people, you're only going to feel the OP when you push yourself to the limits of the thing you're good at, kind of things, right? And that's why you got it because it's like, oh, you were revving the engine so hard with these bad mechanics that you
yeah,
really needed that intensity to get there. So it's like, oh,
yeah,
then you like, and then like that thing you said about broken really resonates with me because I got into this field because I had a bad back. And in 2004, no one knew shit about backs, right? Like, 20 years ago, it was a dark place. There was no YouTube, there was no internet, there was just nothing. You know what I mean? There was nothing. It was just
yeah,
a dark place of, oh, you have a bad back. Well, I guess you just don't lift heavy things. Like I have this distinct memory being like, wanting to get my girlfriend at the time a boxing bag. She was getting into boxing, and I was like, "Oh, I want to get her a boxing bag. I'll set it up for her and stuff." And I remember going to the shop and like it was like a trolley and having to get a boxing bag into a trolley. And so I remember just really carefully like having to maneuver this boxing bag up like with my back, like tipping it over, tipping it into the trolley. And then like, okay, I got it in the trolley. So I go up, get it to the cash register, and like the tag was on the bottom of the trolley. And I can remember, like anyone with back pain knows, one of the worst things you can do is if you lean over and grab something like this, where like there's an object in front of you, because then you're gonna have to leverage it all with your lower back, right? Sort of things.
mhm,
And so I remember I go up to the register, and this like bloke, like fit looking athletic bloke kind of things. I'm like, oh, he's like, oh, the tag's at the bottom. And he's just like, oh, okay. And just leans over the register, grabs the bag, and just like whips it up over the top, puts it on the register, zaps it, flicks it back into the thing, and I could like it took me 5 minutes to get that stupid thing into the trolley, and I could just remember in that moment just feeling so broken and just being like, like I guess any female clients is maybe might not understand, but just being like, oh no, that's a man and I'm not a man. I don't know what I am, but like I'm a grown adult, but I'm not a man and that's a man because he just went and picked it up, didn't think about it, and I'm just this broken thing who had to like, like it just was so like I just felt like half a person, if that makes sense. Like I was so disconnected from my body physically and stuff, kind of things that, yeah, like that really resonated with me. So I would do things like that, where it was just like the things I love doing, like cricket. Ironically, I just went for the first time and played cricket yesterday in years because I haven't done it in so long because I loved cricket and I had to stop playing because my back got so bad from all the batting and stuff from it. And it was
Mm,
just like, oh, I just stopped playing. And so if I stopped playing, my back was a little bit better because of it, kind of things and stuff. And it's like you just modify your life to avoid the things that you really love doing, but you give up part of yourself when you do that. Do you know what I mean? Because like these things that are important to you, you just kind of like you give up in a way, and you just like you make the
mm,
best of your situation. So yeah, you party, you enjoy university, you like get on with your life, but there's still a part of you that's left behind. You don't get to get back, kind of things like that.
mhm.
Really resonates with me. But anyway, okay, so you find me, you find my weird ass videos on the internet and stuff. You jump in. What was it like? Like, what was it like kind of starting the process, meeting me? How did you find it all? Like kind of things. What was going through your head for anyone, like to put them in your headspace in that moment kind of thing?
Mm, yeah. Yeah, found you through YouTube, and I found the process, so easy to get started. I mean, I think that first consultation with you had a special description of it, so it made it feel like, yeah, let me just take a chance and meet this guy and see what it's about. Um, and I think that offering, yeah, it really just drew me in. It's like, I got nothing to lose, really. Um, and
And
I was just so, uh-huh.
just for anyone watching this, so what Nick's talking about is I just do this like session where it's just like it's kind of like 30 minutes. I just assess. It's not like a proper full-on appointment, but it's just to like chat. And then like, you throw it an assessment, but it's just to kind of go, this is a weird dude on the other side of the world. Let me just like dip my toe in, see what he's like, see what he's like. I always just kind of tell people it's just kind of like it's not, you don't have to commit. You can just meet me, see if I'm a weirdo or not. I am. But like you can just like, figure out whether this is the right fit for you or not. But just that idea of being like, and even if say someone does that and I'm not the person for them, every time you just keep trying, right? Eventually you're gonna find something. It's the act if you keep trying. If you don't, like if you weren't on that, in the dark web like corners of YouTube, you never would have gotten to where you needed to be, sort of things. It's like
Hmm.
that willingness to never really give up is what lets people get better because it's such a hard
Yeah.
condition. But yeah, sorry, go on, go on. So you started
Yeah,
the process, yeah.
and that's what it was like. Yeah, why was I on YouTube that day? Because there was a part of me that's like, no, I'm fed up, and I'm not gonna stop until I have control of my body, and I I can move the way I want to, like you're talking about with your back. Like I kind of had like similar moments where like I can't squat, or I can't pick this thing up the ground, and my hips just don't work like my friend over here who can do these things. And like I I saw that, and similar to your moment, and saw that I want that. So
Mm.
yeah, took a chance. I think in that first meeting, I saw how I sent some videos in, right?
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah, that's how it works. And yeah, even in that 30 minutes, it was open to me to see how, I mean, you were just so knowledgeable about OP, and the way that you looked at my videos and drew your lines over my spine and show your trademark. And I just I saw that you knew the problem, and I saw in your mind you knew how to fix it. And um that was enough for me to say, let's do it. Let's jump in. And I think what helped me be so successful was that, all in mentality of like, I tried these ancient herbal remedies, these injections, these other regimens, and it didn't work. This is my last shot. And I was just I was all in. I was committed to it. And I think what an aspect of the program that I think was so important was, yeah, there's the videos and the knowledge, which is, yeah, invaluable for sure. But I believe that uh, our bodies are a gift, really, from a creator, and I believe in this interconnectedness of, body and mind and spirit. And part of what makes this program so amazing is, yeah, the body stuff, the physical, drawing the lines and, you know, showing proper alignments. But it's also like this, how do I describe the psychological mindset, um, that, taught me that I am in control of my body and I can improve this. Um, won't happen overnight, but if I'm consistent with it and follow the steps, I will get better. And that's just the science. That's just the progression of it. And I think that having that mindset and being taught that mindset really, because like I said before, I was feeling, out of like it was out of my control. But then I learned it was in my control, and I think that was a huge part of the program, um, that taught me like about the parts about pain, um, were really helpful. Just knowing that, you know, what it is and knowing that, okay, there's this thing called pain, but it doesn't mean that I can't still move the right way.
And just to like elaborate more on what Nick's describing there, sort of thing. So first thing is just like that all-in mentality, right? The way I also like to couple that with is just this idea of kind of being like, no one's coming to save you, which is not 100% true, but it's just this idea that, do you know what I mean? Like, I care, I work really hard, I try to put in my best effort, but I'm never going to care much about your body as you should care about your body, right? Sort of things. And for all the videos I can send you and all the things that you could like, you can watch and learn and stuff like that, and all the video reviews that you can send me and I can correct and draw those lines. At the end of the day, it's like it's your ass in that freezing gym who's got to make those changes. And there's
Yeah.
changes, like no matter how much detail I give you or whatever, they're just not going to come easy, because if they did, you would have fixed this years ago, right? Like if you did, like it would have just any other therapist would have kind of done it, right? It's that, oh, and like, people are like, oh, what's the difference between me and other therapists and stuff? And I'm like, yeah, there's information, there's all this stuff. But just think of just being like, I don't know, you just keep going, just like keep at it. And like,
Yeah.
you said, oh, this is my last shot. I like people to think that so that they're all in, but it's not. Do you know what I mean? If you don't give up, it doesn't matter. So if I don't fix you, there would have been someone else. You would have done it because you are the thing that matters the most in this. It's like, it's your attitude, it's your mindset, it's your willingness to go, I'm not going to give up. I will be on YouTube till 3 a.m. till I find an answer. Do you know what I mean? Like that to me is the
Mm.
most important thing. So for me, and then like when Nick's talking about the pain, I have all this stuff on the pain because yeah, pain is a signal that your body's unhappy about something, but you can't just trust that it's always telling you the truth and exactly. And sometimes you got to figure out your pain. That doesn't mean just do what you want and hurt yourself even worse, but it's like, oh, you got to figure out what it's telling you. And sometimes it's telling you, yeah, you're doing something wrong and you need to fix it. And other times it might actually just be lying to you. You might feel pain, but you're so sensitive to pain because you've had the injury for so long. It's actually just lying, and that you don't need to listen to it. And if you can replace, instead of relying on pain, with your knowledge, your ability to tell that you're doing something right, to feel the activation patterns in the right area, eventually you can build confidence to overcome that sensitivity so you don't feel pain. But it's like, oh, so it's not just you do these exercises and it's going to be clean sailing. It's going to suck. It's going to suck all these times when things go wrong and you hurt yourself and stuff like that. But if you don't do that, then you're never going to get better, because no one is coming to save you. No one's going to come with a magic wand
Hmm.
for you, right? So it's like, I'll do my best and other therapists will do their best. Like, it's very few therapists who are genuinely disingenuous. Like, I mean, they're doing their best sort of things. But at the end of the day, it's just like no one's coming to save you. There is no magic pill kind of things. So therefore, it's like it's all on in. You've got to be all in, right? And so, yeah, that ability to like, and I don't know if you remember, it would have been like you would have hurt yourself doing something. And I would have been immediately like, okay, cool, tell me about it. And then I would have been like, tell me when it happened, how it happened, what you were doing, and then I'd be like, okay, try doing this, try doing this, try doing this. It was always like my focus is that thing you were describing, control, where it's just like I just don't want anyone to feel like a victim to their body, sort of things. Where it's like this,
Yeah.
your body just does this stuff to you, and you just have to suffer through it because that's what I felt like, kind of things. And that's
Hmm.
just the worst feeling in the world. So it's like, oh, even if it takes ages, even things, if you're willing to never give up and then you're willing to put the work in, you can get control back. It's just you got to
Yeah.
explore it like every like it's like right we're going up a freaking like what's it called, climbing up a mountain and it's like raining. It's just like you gotta like it's gonna be bloody and awful and horrible sometimes, and if you just gotta keep going sort of things.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. And that's so true. No one is gonna fix this for you but yourself.
Hmm.
Um, but I would still make the strong statement of like, yes, no one is saving you but yourself, but joining this program was it for me. Like, as much as I wanted to help myself, maybe like this program is the tools,
Yeah.
right? And I don't think that I would have found anywhere else on planet Earth, really. I mean, I'm sure there's other stuff,
No,
but
there's other stuff,
I
there's
mean,
always
I
other
mean, I'm
stuff.
just
Yeah.
speaking from personal experience here of like what my path and what my journey's been had, which is obviously through this program, is like, yeah, the tools and the knowledge that you've created um has helped me so much to the point where, yeah, I have freedom. I am in control of my body. I'm aware of my body. I'm know what I'm holding tight, and I know how I'm posturing myself throughout the world. Not to a perfect degree, of course, but like I'm I'm just more aware of it so that, you know, I can say, oh, okay, let me just, you know, like reconnect or, move through the world in a better way now. And it's certainly not a path of perfection. That's not what this program is about, to me at least. I mean, even fast forwarding, I've been out of the program now for about a year. I've, I had different goals. My first goal was rock climbing, which pretty static movement. You're not, you know, jumping a whole lot. You're not sprinting and stopping and moving directions. And that was my goal at the time. And my goals have now changed. And so since getting out of taking a break from rock climbing, um, I've stayed consistent with some things, but really not most things. Um, but that doesn't scare me. I mean, so this is a story of not being perfect in the program. OP takes, I mean, Jason would say takes years, probably for like a more full recovery. And so even after year one, I like really took a break from most of the exercises, most of the things. But like here I am, not a story of perfection by any means, but I have this peace of mind of like, no, I know the solution and I know that I have the resources, I have the tools from this program, I have the mindset, and that I can just, here I am, back on track. Let me just get into it again. And I know that, um, what did I have here? That, yeah, I have this new belief that I have the power, you know?
And that's dead on. Just to fill in some stuff there, that so me and Nick talked a little bit before jumping on this call, right? Is just the idea that so okay, so Nick's going from rock climbing, which is it's a dynamic movement, but it's very much a you're constantly under tone, so you can constantly reset and stuff like that, versus something like so you're reacting to the mountain, but really you're making decisions on what you're doing, versus say basketball, which you want to do, right? And stuff like that. That's dynamic. You're reacting to things and stuff like that. And it's such a dynamic motion. So what Nick's describing is going, okay, cool. Because he hasn't done, say, the plyos or ball slams or more dynamic movements in a while through there, And also just with that is that like, yeah, those exercises are important and you're going to need to stay in touch with them because your body's going to, after you get better, it's going to sometimes need retuning. But rock climbing is just a really good, healthy movement. So as long as you're living some sort of fit, healthy life, you don't need to keep doing your exercises obsessively to stay healthy and stuff like that. So rock climbing is a great way to stay healthy. But if you're going to transition from rock climbing to basketball, it's like, oh, your body's going to be deconditioned to basketball. So ideally, like what we're gonna finish this call and then we're gonna chat about it quickly to just make sure he's on the right path to go do it right. Is oh, you're going to want to recondition back to dynamic movements because next year out from dealing with this, the pelvis is going to take 2 or 3 years to properly fully heal. That stuff you see on an MRI scan, whatever damage you might be seeing on your diagnosis, kind of things, that damage takes years to develop, and it takes years, and it doesn't fully heal. It's like a scar, but it will heal over. It will get to a point of functional stability and health, but it won't be completely like, it will take years to do that. So in the meantime, you have to maintain relatively functional pelvis so it doesn't go backwards, sort of thing. So rock climbing is a great way to do that. But if you jump straight in from rock climbing to then basketball, right, then the lack of dynamic conditioning could mean that you start hurting the pelvis again. So like that's what he's talking about is like, oh, cool. He's going to have to reapply himself a little bit for a little bit of time just to get himself ready for basketball. And it won't be just, I can just pick up and play again because his pelvis is like been through stuff now, kind of things. It's gotta be babied into it a little bit. Now, in a couple of years' time, it won't be like that. You'll be much more dynamic. You can jump into things and stuff. But in a couple of years' time, you're probably like, you're gonna hit 30 at that point. Like you're gonna be older.
Yeah.
You're probably gonna want to do things like ease into stuff because you're just not 20 anymore. Your body can't handle things. And even when you weren't 20, it wasn't great for you anyway. That's why I always feel like I was like, my back went when I was 19. So it was just like, I don't remember what it was like to just do whatever the hell I wanted and not feel pain because I always had pain and problems from a really young age. But yeah, it's like you have to condition back into and stuff. But the mindset things that he's talking about, that to me is the most important things. It's like, okay, I'm in control. Here is the information that I need. And let's say you do that, Nick. Let's say you go ahead, you start back into it. And let's say you hit a roadblock, right? And you really get stuck. There's something you just can't find back. You can't do the ball slams again. You can't do the jumping again. It's been too long. Your pelvis starts hurting. And say you then have to book in with me again. It's not going to be this big ass process of starting again and like having to go through it like you're from step one. It'll just literally be, and this happens sometimes with clients, it would be like, oh, hey, let's have a look at what you're doing. Oh, hey, Nick, you've forgotten about some of your arch activations. You need to go and revisit that. That's what's missing here. That's the missing link. Oh, hey, your oblique chains just aren't working the way that they used to before. You just need to like buff that up. But it's, you know what I mean? Like I'm just a tool now for you to use. You're just like, I need Jason's input for this and this. Cool, got that. Now I'll go away and deal with this myself. I don't need the, like, I'm there if you want it, but I don't need the hand holding kind of things. I can just go, I just need to be pushed in the right direction because I don't do this for a living. You know what I mean? Like I'm a teacher, I'm a thing. I don't do this for a living. I have other expertise. So I need an expert to come in, but it's a difference from, oh, please come and save me. That kind of like, oh, like I'm powerless. Please come and save me. You're my last hope, your last thing kind of things. Because yeah, that's the worst position in life to be because like, I just don't want to rely on, I mean, you need to rely on people, but I don't want to, my ability to be happy to be reliant on other people. I want to be self-sufficient. Okay. So with all that in mind, anyone who's watching this, like if you just wanted to give a message to anyone who's just struggling with OP right now, what would you want to tell them? What would you want them to take away kind of thing?
Oh man, that you might feel like this is out of your control, like I felt. And it does not have to be like that. And there there is a way. There is a way where you have the power to change within yourself. And through, yeah, just changing that mindset and that belief, you can overcome this. And you can do the things that you want to do just by doing the exercises. And you, I mean, honestly, I think you gain this knowledge and then just committing to that. And I think just being patient with yourself and not being a perfectionist. Um, and like you said, not like just Jason's gonna fix me, like he's gonna be like my savior. it's not those things, but you can work on this and just know that you have the power to change and
Awesome.
be a mechanic.
I love that expression. That is my favorite.
Yeah, it is
Thank you
good.
so much for doing this. Anyone watching this, I hope you can take away a lot, but thank you so much, Nick.